everybody. I got another very special guest for you all this week. I want everybody to welcome to the show Mr. Dan Price. Welcome to the show, Dan.
Hey, man. Thanks so much for having me today.
I appreciate you taking the time. So, Dan, I'll start you off with where I start all my new guests off, with the big, hard-hitting question of what is your origin story? What got you into comics? And then what got you to the point where you're like, I want to create some of these things?
All right. Origin story. I was 8 years old. My buddy down the street, his name was Carlos. Carlos said, come on, let's go to the store. We're going to go ride our bikes to the store and go get comic books. Man, I mean, I read Garfield and all that stuff like that and, some things like that previously. But no, I procured an X-Men 207, Uncanny X-Men 207, with Wolverine ripping through the cover. I think it was John Romita Jr. did that one. And it was, 1986. And so picked that up and Marvel Saga number 8, and I was off to the races. And so that's what got me going. And then what kept me going, my dad found out I was reading comic books. He's like, oh, now we can do this together. And so he was really excited because he was into comics. And, collected comics with my dad until he passed away, and then got into the art side of things as I got into high school. I really do blame Image Comics completely for me wanting to create my own characters. Because, I love drawing comics. And I'm sure when I was young, I probably wanted to draw Spider-Man or X-Men or something like that when I was a kid. But when Image Comics popped in 92, you could create your own thing and make your own comic. Yes, please. Absolutely. 100%. I'm in. And that's what really got me, dabbling in all of that. I did some work for... helped out around the studio when I was in high school. There was this comic studio outside of in the town that I lived in. They in the back of a comic book store, and they were making their own comics. This is like 93, 94, and they're making books, man. And so they showed me how to do erasures here and fill in the blacks there, and how to color this and that, and hung out around there, and it was exciting. Space City Comics. Hey guys, what's going on? And I graduated from high school. I was going to get my own book that next year. They said, okay, you can do your book, and I was going to do it. And then the studio shut down, and I stopped making comics until I was 30, and picked it back up when I was 30. This is the origin story, man. I'm going there. I'm going deep. I got my in 2007. I did my very first indie creator-owned comic. It's called Latex Avenger. He had a sidekick named Spermicidal Foam Lad, and together they repelled crime 99.9% of the time. And it was ridiculous, and it was amazing. And they fought characters like Manibus, the kaiju pot monster, and there was Kosher the pig, and Sexy Nurse America, and all these crazy characters. And my grandparents were in the comic. That's what got me started doing it. I probably did about 8 issues of Latex Avenger, and then hooked up with this cat named Bon Adami. Bon and I created a book called Masters of the Obvious together, and it was you had characters like Dr. Biclops. He had 2 eyes, and the Visible Woman, you can't miss her, and like LeBron the Snapping Turtle, don't make him snap, you wouldn't like him when he snaps. And they flew around in a battle toaster called the USS Screensaver, having pop culture adventures throughout the galaxy. They fought the Puggalos and the My Little Jabronis and Orville, what was his name, Garth Redenbacher, and all this shit. So did that. That got noticed by the Stan Lee Foundation, and I did a project for the Stan Lee Foundation called Excelsior, The Uphill Adventures of a Boy Named Stanley. And that was a webcomic that was actually tweeted out by Stan Lee once a week for, about 12 weeks. It was cool. It was a neat experience. And kind of walked away from comics for a while, got married and all of that. And then I can keep going, but now I'm just telling you the whole story. So that's my origins. Now I do Bigfoot Knows Karate. So there you go.
I don't even know what to say, because I love all those ideas that you threw out there with the early stuff. I'm a big fan of those Z-list villains that are just so ridiculous in comics. Mm-hmm. It's an ongoing joke in the show, but we discovered the character Codpiece. Have you ever heard of him?
No. No.
So this was created by Rachel Pollack right after Grant Morrison stopped doing Doom Patrol, and she's the writer that took over Doom Patrol. and it was
Okay.
this villain that had the suit, and the main feature of the suit is it had a cod piece with a giant cannon on it, and
Fantastic.
it's the best thing that's ever happened.
I love twisty characters, man. I mean, like I'm working on a design for a future Latex Avenger character right now for a character named F Bomb. And you can imagine where that's going to go. I love weird characters, and so that's kind of how I got to Bigfoot Knows Karate. Just take one of these and one of those, kind of put it together and see what happens.
That's so phenomenal. So, yeah, you bringing up Bigfoot Knows Karate. I guess a good place to start with our talk there is,
Yeah,
what is Bigfoot Knows Karate?
sure. So, Bigfoot Knows Karate is the story of a gentle cryptid warrior who lives in a world. Well, in the first issue, I would have said he lives in this world where anyone can be the hunter and anyone can be the prey at any given time. He's. I like to think of Bigfoot Knows Karate like take Godzilla versus Kong meets Kill Bill with a splash of Lost. Okay, that's like the best way I can kind of put it together for you. In the first issue, he went up against a character named Kung Fu Thulu, which was the name brainchild of Casey T. Allen, my co-writer and editor on this project. Kung Fu Thulu is absolutely amazing, and it's Bigfoot. He does karate. It's a fish out of water story. Oh my god, I mean, it's everything you expect it to be and so much more. Bigfoot Knows Karate. He's living. The second issues. You haven't read the first issue, so I'm really hesitant how to discuss it without issue 2, because I can't without talking about issue 1. Let's just say this. You've never seen anything quite like it, and once you read it, you're going to be wondering where the hell it's been. I think that's been the response that the people have given me after reading issue 1. They weren't expecting what they were getting, and they were very grateful that it was something more than what they expected it to be. So it's a deep story. I mean, it's a 5-issue arc that I'm working on with Casey right now, and it's it's more than just Bigfoot doing karate, although that would be just cool enough. But there's an actual meaty storyline going on too.
Yeah, and I mean, on your website, you've got all the covers on there. You've got some gallery images. You can see the Kill Bill inspiration there with kind of the over the top fighting and blood and gore and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It looks phenomenal, and yeah, Kung Fu, like just the name, I'm sold.
Oh, Kung Fu Thulu is the man. He's a great character because he's like Macho Man Randy Savage meets Max Cady from Cape Fear. Is a good way to put his personality into play. Over the top and absolutely crazy, and was definitely, while Bigfoot Knows Karate, while the Bigfoot character has been very people dig him a lot, and we've received like 90 plus pieces of fan art. I think Kung Fu Thulu was definitely a big star of the first book, and then the characters that we introduced after, near the end of the book, definitely get the spotlight on them in issue 2.
And looking through your website as well, I feel like there's an inspiration there from like Samurai Jack, because the art, especially the first image you put out there, gives me deep Samurai Jack vibes. Is that true, or?
It's not true, but it's something that I take as an absolute compliment. I've seen Samurai Jack for about 15-20 minutes about 15 years ago when my nephew was a little kid. It was awesome and it was beautiful, and what I saw of it, I thought it was great. But it actually did not influence me. But man, if somebody says, "Hey, your work looks like Samurai Jack," thank you. I'll thank you very much. That is not an insult. That's an absolute compliment, because that guy's work is incredible. So,
all right. Well, so issue 1 is out. You funded it through Kickstarter, and you actually had a pretty unique story on how you funded it within the first 7 minutes. So, do you want to jump into that?
Sure. So, we put it up on Kickstarter October of last year, and it was, and been really, thank you to the Instagram community, first of all, because Instagram was really where the character found its footing and found an audience. And so when it came time to do the Kickstarter launch, we did a live launch party. So like the Kickstarter went live at 7 p.m. that night, And so we started at 6:30 that evening, and we did like a kind of a little pre-party, tell you what you're getting, talk about the tiers, and then at 7 o'clock, boom, we hit the button. All right, and we said to everybody in the room, okay, the book is live. Go and fund it if you want. If not, just hang out here, and we'll all keep talking. Well, we had $1,000 goal. Not a huge goal, just $1,000 goal. First Kickstarter. Didn't have like an artist to pay because I do the artwork myself, so we could keep the price down. Or the goal down. And no, we funded it in 7 minutes. And we funded our goal in 7 minutes, and we ended up raising like $3,000 that first, 2.5 hours that we were on live. So we ended up with a goal of $7,300 that we made on Kickstarter. So we didn't, it was a good start, a good campaign, really proud of it. And really thankful to everybody who, backed it, shared it, sent us fan art to put in the deluxe editions, all the great stuff that came from it. It was a really amazing, it was an amazing project.
And that's quite the accomplishment, because I mean, so many Kickstarters, especially like to the gritty end, are trying to hit that goal. And
right.
7,000 is no joke. Like, that's a good chunk of change for anybody.
I was very happy and very proud and very thankful, because I mean, dude, the fact that somebody took money out of their pocket to fund a dream that I'm, you know what I mean? That's humbling as hell. So it's, it definitely put things into perspective for me afterwards, like made you really grateful for what you got, because this is a lot of work. And for somebody to actually recognize it and invest in it, that just means the world.
And so that was October of last year.
Yeah.
What's going on October of this year?
Bigfoot Knows Karate Chapter 2, Born Under a Bad Sign, goes live October 12th on Kickstarter. So really excited about that. We're going to do, Casey and myself will be doing a live launch again, and we're going to have Christopher Michael from Homebrew Comics, his book Crit, will be launching the exact same evening. So we're good friends, Chris and I, and we were like, well, there's no reason not to just launch live together. I mean, he's a pal, man. I can't wait to see him in Baltimore at the end of October. We're all going to be hanging out up there. So we figured we'll launch live at the same time, Crit, Bigfoot Knows Karate 2, and we'll make it a party. So, come and hang out and watch us act like fools on Instagram live that night. But more importantly, check out the comic book, because Bigfoot Knows Karate 2, if you read the first issue, awesome, because it's going to pick right up where we left off in book 2, or from book 1. If you have not read the comic, though, check it out. You can check it out for free at globalcomics.com. That's COMIX, globalcomics.com. If you go over there and search Bigfoot Knows Karate, you will be able to find the entire first issue for free. So you can catch up on that before you invest your money in Bigfoot 2. You like number 1, then get number 2. You want to get the physical catch up in the Kickstarter, we can do that too. But definitely worth checking out. And
so, so as you just so awesomely said, you got issue 2 coming out, going to be on Kickstarter soon. Can you talk at all? Like, have you announced any of like what your maybe any stretch goals you have? Any like cool little bundles you've got? Do you have a Bigfoot Knows Karate action figure going? Like, what kind of stuff can we expect from the Kickstarter other than just the comic?
It's gonna, I'm gonna keep it pretty slim on this one. It's gonna be, I've got the regular edition and the deluxe edition, and then they'll both have variant covers for those. So I'm really lucky to have Adam Caswell came back from he did a cover on book 1. He's doing a gatefold cover, not gatefold, wraparound cover for issue 2. And then I've got Jevin Loop and Zip Alegria, who have all done artwork for this upcoming these upcoming covers. Beyond that, like I said, we have the regular edition and the deluxe edition. And then the deluxe edition, it'll be different from the regular because it'll be a 34 page story for book 1, or for book 2, and then we're going to have an expanded edition for the deluxe. And so what that's going to include is it's going to include extra artwork. We're going to be doing a draw this in your style contest for book 2. So the entrance from that will be in the back of the book. as well as the director's commentary, deluxe director's commentary roundtable discussion that we did, just like we did in book 1. We'll be doing that again in book 2. I always wanted to do a director's commentary for a comic book, right? You remember those on DVDs back in the day? You could watch the director's commentary. And so we did it for book 1, and people went nuts for that. We put a QR code in the book, and they clicked on the QR code, and it took you to a YouTube video where you'd go page by page and talk about the book in detail, because we couldn't talk about it during the campaign. We couldn't really discuss what was going on and why it was happening. There was a lot of twists and turns. So we know there's going to be more of that happening in this one. So we're going to be able to do a deeper dive and talk about book 2 and where we're going in book 3. So that's the big thing in terms of Crazy Tears. We're going to do, we did the same thing in the book in the first campaign. We'll do the 4-pack signed editions, and maybe, just maybe, there's going to be a limited edition crazy cover that we're working on right now. So, but no action figures this time. I think a plushie is going to be happening in the third campaign, though.
I mean, yeah, Bigfoot, you got to do a plushie.
Yeah, I got to do a plushie. I had another campaign happening for another book, here recently, so I didn't get work on the plushie like I wanted to. So it will happen in 3, because there's been a lot of demand for a Bigfoot Knows Karate plushie, and I can understand why, because I don't know, I don't even like stuffed animals. It sounds cool as hell to me. So hook me up, right?
And I love the idea of a director's commentary that's unique and fun, and something that, I would love to watch. Does you have a co-writer? You said you do the art. Do you have anyone else on the team, or is it just you two sitting around talking about the book?
Yeah, it's the two of us. How it works is, I created the concept and wrote, the Bible of what it was going to be, basically, and Casey and I then took that and worked it from there. And he was going to be my editor originally on book 1. And he was doing so much more. I was like, just co-write, and it's been a really cool experience writing together. We've had a blast doing that. And then, so it's just 2 of us now. Adam, who's doing the variant cover, one of the guys doing the variant cover, looks like we're going to have him doing a side story, a Bigfoot Knows Karate side story, between issues 2 and 3. So, Adam's team Bigfoot all the way. He's done covers, and he's going to keep doing more of that stuff for us. In fact, and he'll be also in Baltimore with me in October, at the end of October. So get to meet him for the first time. I live in Austin, Texas, and he lives up in northern Maine. So we're going to actually get to hang out and shake hands, and, that's amazing. I mean, God bless the internet, right?
Exactly. So
yeah.
Is the whole team Bigfoot going to be at Baltimore Comic-Con then?
Unfortunately, Casey could not make it. I've known Casey for 3 years now, 4 years. Oh my God. We got 4 years we've been friends. Never met once. We've worked together on the Comic Jam. We've worked together on Bigfoot Knows Karate. And I know his kids' birth dates, for crying out loud, but we've never actually gotten to meet face to face, So one day, hopefully soon, we're going to get to do that.
Well, I mean, it's good to see, you making out to cons. I love hearing that people are going out and actually doing this again.
Sure.
I love Comic Cons. So that should be a lot of fun. I guess before we wrap everything up here, I mean, Bigfoot Knows Karate, October 12th, I believe it was. Yep. Anything else about the book that you want to throw out there for my listeners?
Let me think. Is there anything else I want to say about the book? This is the most fun I've ever had doing comics. This comic right here, as a guy who used to do, weird comedies about dick and fart jokes and guy wearing rubber on his head and all that stuff like that, to be able to do something like this, which is this large epic scale story, and people are excited about it. That's just an amazing experience. This book has been too much fun. I think it's like this. for people who are into hyperrealism and comics, I applaud you if you can do it and write it and draw it. That's amazing, and that's incredible stuff. If you are looking for something that is like the absolute essence of what comic books are in terms of they can completely go off the rails, check this book out. I mean, we got Big Feet Who Do Karate. We have a chupacabra running around with a shotgun. There's all sorts of crazy crap going on in this book like you've never seen before. I can't wait for you to check it out. So go to bigfootnoskarate.com. You can find the link to the Kickstarter right there on the website. You can also find links to mine and Casey's social media, both our Instagram and our Twitters. And also check out the shop. There's shirts and all sorts of crap in there. So that's what I got to say, man.
So you answered my next question was what's your social media and where can you send people? But before we do take off, I'll say this. From everything you said, obviously you're nice enough to send me a copy now. And I can't wait to read it because it does sound like everything I talk about recently, where I do love hyper-realistic. I do like Batman being gritty. That stuff's all fun. Mm-hmm. But what I've missed about comics in the past 10 years or so is that fun. And when I find books like that, I hold on to them dearly. When I Hate Fairyland was coming out, I held on to that book dearly because I loved the fun, goofy, outrageousness of it. And that's what this book sounds like. So I'm really looking forward to reading it.
Yeah, man. Definitely. You got to let me know what you think.
Everyone out there listening. I'm sorry?
Oh, you got to let me know what you think.
Oh, I definitely will. And to everybody out there listening, check out the show notes down below. I'll have all those links so you can check out Bigfoot Knows Karate, the website, the campaign for issue 2, and the place where you can get a free copy of issue 1 ahead of the campaign so you can check out it alongside me. Dan, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me today. It was a blast, and we have to do it again sometime.
Thank you so much for having me, definitely.